name is Jackie Careless and I'm going to be joined by Charlotte Allen in a moment. We are both community gardeners and we're also natural beekeepers. Today I'm going to tell you about the importance of bees and pollinators, and Charlotte will show you how to make a solitary bee hotel. There are many insect pollinators, not just bees. Honeybees are likely responsible for pollinating between 5 to 15% of the UK's insect pollinated crops. You might be able to see through the window. I've tried to position the camera so that you can see one of our top bar hives. There is only a few bees flying today because it's very cold and it's very windy. But in one of those top bar hives we can have up to 50,000 honeybees. But honeybees aren't the only species that pollinate. So many species of bee, moth, butterfly, otherfly, fly and beetle will provide an essential service. Without them we wouldn't have all our diverse fruits and vegetables. If you think about your favourite fruit that you like to eat or your favourite vegetable, they could easily disappear without our pollinators. So, what is pollination? Pollination occurs when pollen is carried from one flower to another flower of the same species. And for that to happen, the flower will produce nectar. The nectar is very sweet and rich, and that's what attracts the insects. So when an insect flies to a flower to collect some nectar to take home to eat, it will also get pollen onto its little furry bodies. If we think how furry our lovely bumblebees are, here's a picture of one. See how furry they are? It will easily get pollen pushed onto its fur from the flower. So when it flies to the next flower, it will pollinate. Here's a picture of an honeybee, and again you can see the pollen, hopefully, on its furry little body. So honeybees are slightly different. They also like to collect some of the pollen to take back and they turn it into what's called pollen bread, which is what they use to feed their young and they eat themselves. So pollinators are now under threat, with some bumblebees becoming extinct and other insects are also in decline. This is because of the way we farm, intensive agriculture and the destruction of habitat. Insects are affected by urbanisation, heavy use of pesticides and herbicides, climate change and also disease. But you can help. You can do this in your own garden. You can grow organically. Don't use pesticides and herbicides in your garden. Try and find natural ways of protecting your plants from pests. And you can also plant wildflowers. Grow more nectar-rich plants and trees. Keep a wild patch of land at the bottom of your garden for wildflowers, and you can also create nesting and feeding sites. Cut your grass less often. This will also let different plants flower, which insects love. You can also build a bee hotel and avoid disturbing or destroying nesting or hibernating insects in grass margins, bare soil, hedgerows, trees, dead wood and walls. Now Charlotte is going to show you how to build a bee house, which looks a little bit like this. So bee houses we like to put up for all our solitary bees. So over to Charlotte to show you how to build one that you can put into your own garden.
Building a bee hotel is a great way to provide a habitat for solitary bees in your garden. Bees such as mason bees like to lay their eggs in small spaces, and therefore a bee hotel like this one is a great place for them to do so. The design I'll be showing you is really simple. It's simply a 2 litre plastic bottle that has been cut down without a top and a bottom and stuffed with hollowed out canes and plant stems, as well as some twigs, some straw, some dried leaves and other dried organic material. So, to start with, all that you'll need to take is your 2-litre plastic bottle and cut it into a cylindrical tube, like so. Try to aim for the length to be about 100 to 150 millimetres, because solitary bees like to lay their eggs quite deep inside the hollowed out canes, and therefore this will provide enough space for them to do so. Once you've cut your plastic bottle to size, now it's time to start stuffing the bottle with some hollowed out canes. Try to range, as you can see from this one that I made earlier, there are a range of different size openings. Some are 10 millimetres, some are more like 2 millimetres, and this just provides a range of habitats for different solitary bees. As you can see from this one, some of the canes are actually sealed. Because I made this bee hotel last year, some bees have already laid their eggs, and therefore the canes have been sealed to protect the eggs while they overwinter, ready for them to hatch in the coming few weeks. Now, once you've started putting some of the canes into your plastic bottle, you can also start to add some twigs and some other dried material. I'm just going to refresh this one. I've taken out a few canes already, and I'm just going to add in a little bit more material, just so that the bottle is stuffed and packed so that it's nice and stable and the canes don't slide around. Also going to add in some straw, like so. Now that is nice and packed full, I am going to find a good place to hang this. And the best way that I've found to hang this is with a piece of string or twine tied around the middle. Next, I will find a sunny south-facing location. Bees like the sun, they like the warmth, so try to find somewhere that is nice and sunny for them. And I will hang this about 1 metre or 2 metres above the ground, so that it's off the ground so that bees can easily access it. And I will hang this so it's nice and stable so it doesn't swing around in the wind. If you can, try to just have it so that this front face is showing, the back face doesn't need to be, so you can put it against a fence or against a post. But it's not the end of the world if both faces are showing, but it just makes it a little bit more sheltered if only one face is showing. Next spring, hopefully you'll see lots of these hollowed out tubes, nice and sealed and ready to hatch some new solitary bees.